Well, I grew up in a culture of Orthodox religion where you had to check off all the boxes. And I never really seemed to measure up because there were more boxes than I had time for. Or maybe I just wasn't good enough to be that kind of person to check all the boxes. But what has been just transformational for me is to truly learn the gospel of Jesus Christ. In June of 2019, I had an incident that frankly, I should not have survived. And following that event, it became very apparent to me that I was here for a very definite reason. I felt God's hand protect me in that situation. And so that's why I know I'm here for a definite purpose. And since then, I've been looking for a lot of answers to develop a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And I was over in Africa, and a friend said, if you want to find Jesus Christ and develop a relationship with him, you should go to K2. I knew that I needed to do something different. Now, that's not to say I couldn't have gone back to my former life, but I knew what that looked like. And I had had a relationship with God, or my Heavenly Father as I understood at the time, but I didn't believe that I had a relationship with Jesus Christ. And so as I started coming here and being tutored by the pastors and learning more about Jesus Christ, I started to develop that relationship. And I remember the breakthrough moment. I was sitting with Dave Nelson in our little disciple group, and I was just flooded with the Spirit. I'd always heard the stories in the Bible, but I wasn't sure they weren't just fables. So I was given the opportunity to play pilot in the Good Friday service. And again, that story of what happened on Friday, again, I didn't know it was true, but during rehearsals, I was standing on the stage here at K2, and Mariah was actually standing in for Rachel during that rehearsal. And Mariah was playing the role of Mary, and she did it with such passion. And she did it with such love. And as I looked over at her, I was flooded with the Spirit like never before that said, this is not a fable. This really happened. And it was in that moment, looking over on the stage, that I was just hit with this really happened. And if he really was crucified, and that's when he died for me, then all of the other components of that were also true. But not and then, right? It was just that was it. And when he said it is finished, he meant it. But once I realized that the gospel of Jesus Christ is all about what he did for me during his atonement of dying on the cross, being buried in the tomb and rising 3 days later, and realizing that was a gift to me, and that was enough, and that it wasn't that plus. In that other culture, it says, after all that you have done, then he'll give you grace sufficient to make it. It's not after all I can do. It's not about me. It's what he did for me. Because of that ultimate sacrifice, nothing I can do for myself, of myself. It was a gift he gave me. Too many people in today's world say, I'm not enough, right? Because the world says you got to do this, you got to be this, you got to have this. We are enough because of the gift that Jesus Christ gave each and every one of us when he died on the cross, and then 3 days later, he is risen. That is the good news, is that he is risen. So this isn't the end. This is just truly the beginning. So when we say, oh, finally I'm at the end of all my troubles, you just don't realize which end. So I know I'm at the beginning, not the conclusion.